Hey everybody, welcome back to Wow Mom Cooking. We are brought to you by PMLB Media. You can find all their information at pmlbmedia.com. But for now, what I want to do is tell you we are going to be making desserts today. So grab your pens, your papers, and your aprons, and let's get cooking with Wow. Okay, we are going to start with our first dessert, which is going to be a kind of a fruit parfait. We're going to make a cream cheese, whipped cream filling to go into it, and use some fresh fruit with it too. So the first thing we're going to do is get that cream cheese ready. Took it out of the refrigerator, made sure it was nice and soft. We're going to use half of this package, which is about 4 ounces. So I'm going to get that in here into our bowl, and that's the first thing we're going to mix in. Get my knife out. Okay, we're going to use half the package. Put it right into our bowl here. Okay, and we're going to use 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. It's going to make it nice and fluffy. The cream cheese is going to give it a little extra something, a little extra flavor when we're doing this. So let's get this in here, 2 full cups. And you want it to be nice and cold. So make sure you leave this in the refrigerator until you're ready to go. We will pour that in. Now to this, we're also going to add about a teaspoon of, this is actually vanilla bean paste. You can use pure vanilla extract if you don't have any vanilla bean paste. You just want to use a little bit more. This will add a little bit of color. And what that's going to do is going to put the little black bean dots in there. Makes it look really neat. Adds a little bit more to it. Let me find my measuring spoons. Let me get about a teaspoon out of here and put it in there. You can see it's really thick. Kind of looks like a syrup almost. That's why it's called a paste and not just vanilla extract. Okay. We're also going to use about a teaspoon of pure lemon extract. Just adds a little bit of flavor. Make it even more delicious. There we go. We're going to start beating this up and whipping it before we add in our powdered sugar. We want to make sure that our cream cheese is starting to incorporate with everything. So I'm going to start doing that. It's going to get a little noisy, and then we're going to add some sugar in. This can be a little messy, splashes a little bit, that's okay. Wear an apron if you don't want to get it on your clothes. I got a little on my shirt, but we're all right. Okay. That's about all we want to mix it before we add that powdered sugar in. We're going to get about a 1/4 cup. So we're going to get it right out of here. And I'm going to kind of sprinkle a little bit over the whole thing. This is going to sweeten it up a little bit. And it's going to help pull it all together and make it exactly what we need it to be. So we're going to start mixing again. It's going to take a few minutes to get this to the consistency we want. So just keep an eye on it, watch it, and you're going to see how it changes. The whipping cream is a great thing. You'll see as you start to mix it and you start to blend it up here, what happens is it starts to thicken. It'll become more like whipped cream instead of more than the milk consistency there. Everything will get folded in together. It's already starting to smell really good, and it's going to be fabulously exactly what we need. You can see it's starting to splash less. The bubbles are getting thicker, and as we continue to do this, it's going to really firm up. now that it's actually, you can see the beater's starting to move through it a little bit better. So I'm going to turn it up a little bit. It's going to get loud for a minute, and then we're going to get back to what we're doing. Now I want to show you how it's starting to thicken a little. You'll see it's starting to stick to the beaters right here, and you can see it's not as easy to just push through. So we're starting to get there. You can also see that the little black beads that are in there from the vanilla bean paste are starting to set up also, and you can see it's starting to kind of stick to the sides of the bowl. We're going to keep doing this until it's all ready, and then we're going to show you the next step. Okay, now you can see it's sticking to the beaters themselves. That means it's just about ready. So now we need to do a really important step. We need to taste it. I'm gonna grab a spoon. We wanna make sure it's sweet enough, wanna make sure it has enough of the vanilla flavor, and that it tastes like it's supposed to. So let's see. That is delicious. Now, it needs a little bit more mixing going on, so we're gonna do that and we'll be right back. All right, this is a quick and easy, simple, delicious, light dessert. I have these little dessert cups. They came with a little spoon when I bought the set. They're perfect for this. What we're gonna do, because we're gonna layer this to make it look beautiful, we're gonna take a couple of these raspberries that I have here, and underneath my raspberries, I have blueberries. We're gonna take a few of each, put them in the bottom, and then we are going to spoon some of this delicious whipped cream cheese mousse that we have made into this bowl, into this little dish to go with these. So you can see they look fabulous. This is gonna look so good. So we're gonna take some of this. We're using a small spoon because this is a small opening on the top. Don't try to overdo this. In fact, if you have a pastry bag, it might be a good idea to put it in the pastry bag, because it's going to be fun to get this in here. Probably use 2 spoons. There we go. Okay, put just a little bit more. There's our first layer. We want to tap it down to get it to cover our little berries. Then what we're going to do is put a few more of these berries in here. Perfect. Smashes these things, the little whipped cream we've got in there already down. Get some of these blueberries out of here. There we go. Perfect. Now you're probably wondering why I have this little lemon sitting here. I'm going to show you in just a second. You can see we've got layers going on. We're going to take another spoonful of this, and we're going to put a little bit more on here. Okay. There we go. We're going to put our spoon back in here because everybody's going to need a spoon. Kind of work it in there, and then we're going to get our little microplaner with our lemon for a little bit of lemon zest on top just to make it pretty. That's all we need it for. Perfect. Has just a little bit of color on top. This is ready to go for dessert. We'll put these in the refrigerator and we will let these chill up and get really good and cold. It'll be a wonderful light dessert option for everybody, and it will be delicious, I'm telling you. It's gonna be perfect. So then after this, what we're gonna do is we are going to make some banana bread for people who don't want something sweet, but want something a little more hearty or will have a little bit more substance to it. So we're gonna get on with that, and I'm gonna finish making all of these. I've got 8 of these to go. When I'm done, I'll come back and I'll show you how to make that banana bread. Our little fruit parfaits are in the refrigerator cooling and ready for dessert. What we're gonna do next is make a hearty banana bread with chocolate chips. One of my husband's favorites, that's why I make it. So this is really simple. You don't have to use a blender because we're gonna use soft, mushy, overripe bananas. That's the first thing. So that's why I have these ugly bananas here. That's what we want. We want it to be soft. We're gonna peel these little suckers and kind of just squish them in, because they're gonna get squished in a second here anyway. That's what we want. There's 1. 3 or 4 is enough. Doesn't matter whether you choose 3, you choose 4, whatever you have is fine. There's 2. Kind of getting all over my fingers because they're so mushy. It's why you kind of just squish them in there. 3 and 4. We want lots of banana flavor. If you don't want to have a ton of banana flavor, only use 2 or 3. But we need 3 or 4 in this house because it's what makes it taste so good. So what we're gonna do is get rid of these banana peels. We're gonna smush these up and start adding some ingredients. Okay, see our lovely bananas? They're gonna smush really easy. We like that. It smells so good. If you've ever smelled a ripe banana, oh, let me tell you, I'm surprised there aren't monkeys coming in through the windows. Okay. We're gonna add our egg next. 1 egg to this recipe. Just kind of mush it in here with the banana so we make sure it gets all incorporated. Okay. This recipe is a little different than some that you've probably done because it's similar to my beer bread recipe. What we're gonna do is add melted butter into this, and then we're gonna pour melted butter over the batter when it's in the pan. That's gonna give it that crusty, a little bit of crunchy outside to it and make it just that much more delicious. So we're done there. And what we're gonna do now is the sugar. We need, there we go. We need to put in here about a 1/4 cup of sugar. Okay, we wanna keep making sure everything stays really well mixed together. So we're gonna mix one thing at a time. This looks great. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna put in here is about 1/2 cup of melted butter. Now you'll see I have a whole cup of melted butter here, so we're gonna put about half of this in here and we're gonna save a little bit of this. Not the whole cup is gonna go in. We're gonna save some of this to pour over the batter once we put it in the pan. So we're gonna add about 1/2 cup right now. That's about right. We're gonna give it a little stir again. Okay, and then what we're gonna do next is we're gonna add our flour. We're gonna put about 1.5 cups of flour, but we're gonna sift it in. We're gonna start with our 1 cup. Have it a little, when I say that it's 1 cup heavy or 1/2 cup of heavy, that kind of means that you mound it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be flattened out. What we wanna do is about 1.5 cups heavy. So we're gonna go ahead and sift this right in here. We're gonna mix the cup in, and then we're gonna add the 1/2 cup with a teaspoon of baking powder. So we've got that. We're gonna fold this in a little bit. Now these are 2 really simple desserts that you can make. They don't take very long, and in fact you could come home and whip this up, throw it in the oven and make dinner, and then have this ready for dessert when dinner's done. So let's get this going. Okay, this is looking really good. Now we're gonna get about 1/2 cup more of our flour. Again, we want it to be a little heavy. And the other thing we're gonna do is we are going to, set this down gently, add a teaspoon of baking powder. We're gonna add this right into our flour and sift it in with everything. Sifting it just makes for a better consistency when everything is cooked. You'll have a nicer texture on your breads, and you should always sift it if you have a chance to. Okay, that looks great. Let's mix this in. The other thing you can do is you can add a little bit of vanilla to this if you want that. You don't have to, but some people like it. I think I might put a little bit of that vanilla paste in here too, since we have it out. I'll grab that and add that in right now before we get everything too well mixed up. And then we're gonna fold in some chocolate chips. So let me grab that vanilla. I'm gonna put about 1/2 teaspoon in this time. Just kind of drizzle it around and let it mix. Smells really good. And just like it did with our other dessert, with our whipped topping that we wanted to put in there, it's gonna add a little bit of color, a little bit of flavor. It's gonna be delicious. Now, one thing to remember is in banana breads, you're not gonna have that dough that looks like a big ball. You're gonna have something mushy and gushy, and that's what you want. It's how it should look, and that's exactly what we've got here. So we look like we're just about ready to add our chocolate chips. Now this part depends on how many you want. I am using dark chocolate chips. That's what we like here in our house. They are delicious. And I am going to put a handful in. Handful is different for everybody. A handful usually works out here in our house. We're gonna put these in here, then we're gonna fold them in. If you got kids that won't eat it without a lot of chocolate chips, put more. If you don't want chocolate chips, you can add walnuts. Pecans are good in here. There we go. Coconut. Some people like coconut flake in here. It's delicious. I've had it before. Okay, so we've got it all folded in. And now what we're gonna do, super simple, we're gonna pour a little bit of that melted butter in the bottom of this pan. It's just a regular old loaf pan. And then we're gonna pour a little bit of butter on top of our loaf after we get everything in here. Just gonna swish it around, have it cover the bottom. And we're gonna put this in here. The thing that takes the longest on this recipe is baking. We've got our oven preheated, 350 degrees, and it's gonna take about an hour to cook this. You can see as you put it in, the butter starts to surround the bread mixture that you've put in here. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna keep it from sticking. It's also gonna give it a nice crispy, crunchy outside, which is just delicious. If anyone has made my beer bread recipe, it does the exact same thing as that did. Let's make sure we get all of this in here. My hands are clean, so I'm gonna use my fingers. I just washed them. Make sure we get all this batter in here. And then we're gonna smooth it around a little bit. And it looks like we need to put just a touch of butter on top of here because we didn't have enough in the bottom to cover the top. So we're just literally going to just drizzle the top just a little tiny bit. Okay, this is all ready. It's beautiful. Our oven is preheated. We're gonna pop this in the oven. In an hour, we're gonna take it out. We'll slice a piece of this, put a little bit of that whipped topping we had left over it, and we're gonna give it a taste along with our little parfait. So I will be back with you as soon as I get this out of the oven. Both of our desserts are finished. We have our little parfait with our raspberries and blueberries. Looks delicious, gonna taste that in just a second. This is our chocolate chip banana bread, and I've got a little bit of the whipped topping left over that I can eat with that. You can see the beautiful chocolate chips inside of there. This is gonna be so delicious. I can't wait to eat it. We've got two completely different options for people to have for dessert. It's a great way to go. They were both real easy to make. So I'm gonna eat these until next time when I see you. You can find all my recipes and watch all my different videos on wowmomcooking.tv as well as wowmomcooking.com. I wanna say thank you again to pmlbmedia.com. They are my sponsor and they are my producers. Go check them out, please, so you can keep me on the air. I'd really appreciate it. So until next time I see you, keep cooking with Wow.